Mine doesn't have, yeah. I had it off. All right, I'd like to ask Pastor Seth Hebner from Faith Lutheran Church to come up and give an invocation.
Passage from 1 Timothy 2. First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you direct us to pray for those who are in authority so that we may lead peaceful and godly lives. Guide this meeting and be with each leader. Give them wisdom and discernment. Bless the people that live in this wonderful city. And as we enter the season of winter, be with all the workers who brave outside. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you. I'd like to call today's Common Council meeting to order, December 2nd. It is 7:01 p.m. Mark, you please take the roll call.
Davis, Lampy, Bird, Bartz, Blanky,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Arnett, here. Wetzel, Moldenhauer.
Here.
Okay, thank you. You please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First on the agenda is minutes from the council meeting on November 18th.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move for adoption of the minutes.
Okay, motion by Berg. Second by Arnett. Okay, questions on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. All 9 members are here. Okay, next we have comments and suggestions from citizens present. There was a printing about the 2026 budget having a public hearing that was done 2 weeks ago. So in case anybody was here expecting a public hearing, you may speak at this time instead during the comments time. If you could state your name and address, and you have up to 3 minutes or so. If you're sharing the same opinion as somebody else and someone said something the same as you can just kind of say agree with that person, not have to reword the whole thing just in case.
Luke Hensley.
That's sufficient, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Is it
All
on?
right. Yeah, now it is. All right. I am here to voice my disappointment in the action taken by this council to reduce the library fund by $100,000. I understand money is tight and cuts must be made, but the way it was done is what bothers me the most. The city was asked if they wanted a library expanded in 2016, and the city told the council yes by about 62%. So in my opinion, it seems clear by that vote, plus the sheer volume of usage the library receives, the majority of citizens represented by the council want the library fully functional. Assuming I followed the budget process correctly, a budget was completed and ready to present, and then it was decided to ask the library to pay $200,000 towards city debt out of their fund comprised of primarily endowments and donations, perhaps in good faith or as a target of opportunity, but it wasn't clear to me as the audio of that meeting wasn't quite sufficient. When the library told you those funds simply could not be used for that, they were answered with the possibility of facing additional cuts beyond the $40,000 already decided earlier in the budgeting process during normal budget discussions. Then at the council meeting on 11/18, where the budget was being presented, again seemingly complete, during the public comment portion, a motion was made to reduce the library's budget by $100,000. The method this done has poor optics in my view, and presumably the view of others. The optics appear to show the following: a grab for money towards debt from an account not controlled by the council, a rejection based on ethical use of the library's requested fund, and a subsequent punishment in the form of the last-minute $100,000 cut. I also agree with Alderperson Lampy that I have trouble believing it's a one-time cut. This cut will no doubt affect the operations of the library for the citizens of Watertown and the surrounding communities. I also echo Alderperson Wetzel's concerns that the public perception regarding the potential for individuals to hesitate to donate money to the library in the future. However, I would take that further and anticipate it affecting individuals' confidence in donating to any department in the city in the future. With our budget limitations, generous donations are imperative to efficient operations within the city. Feel free to ask any department heads about how important donations have been. I do not take lightly the financial issues the city is facing and agree with Alderperson Arnett that there are likely many difficult decisions ahead, but I implore you to make those decisions carefully and in consultation with the department leaders to ensure you fully understand the impact, and so there can be some discussion on mitigation or cost reduction methods and or suggestions, not in a blindsiding punitive manner as this has the appearance of. I believe I heard it suggested at previous finance meetings, but I would also urge the finance committee and whole council to investigate cost-saving methods and efficiency improvements throughout the year rather than only at budgeting time. The library is a unique place in our community and one that is truly appreciated. It serves the families of not only this city but surrounding areas. It brings people to the city, and I can't count the number of times it has kept my own family downtown after our visits to stay and support the surrounding local businesses, and I'm sure we aren't the only ones. In my professional capacity, I've seen it be an utmost important resource to those struggling. Beyond its basic function as a library, I've seen it give people access to the internet for school or work, be a safe haven for teens, provide a safe place for those to retreat who are dealing with difficult homes, and provide an area for human services to work with families to build skills, providing programming for homeschooling families, and so much more. On top of that, I would also remind you that you are abruptly reducing the operational budget of the primary shelter within the city's emergency plan. I do not envy your position in the creation of the budget and appreciate your diligence, but I urge you to remove this library cut from the 26th budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lois Hotkin.
I went online this afternoon to figure out exactly what had happened in the last week's meeting so that I would speak intelligently to you and find out the arguments that you had in defunding the library. I come to you with many years of library experience. I've been working as a library director from 1969 to 2013 when I retired. Sorry about that. But it's really, libraries are really important. And various times in my career, I've had to make library cuts. All of them were difficult. There were certain services, hours, something like that that had to be cut that was not well received by our patrons. And we did it, and it was uncomfortable. Did we ever get the money back? No. So that was just the way the budgeting process worked where I was. But I want to speak tonight from the human resources perspective. $100,000 cut will require personnel reductions, which means people will have less money than they intended to have or planned on having to feed their family and make the mortgage payments. These people will probably leave and find another job. But when money is again available, those people will not want to come back to a library where their employment is in jeopardy every time there's a budget meeting. So I would like to urge you to reverse this decision if at all possible, if not pledge to restore that funding at some point in the future. I highly doubt that that will be done, but I would sure like to be surprised. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Elizabeth Fritz.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Fritz, and I live on 112 North Maple Street. I am here to express my strong disapproval of the proposal to cut $140,000 from the Watertown Public Library budget. I want to speak plainly, but respectfully. This proposed reduction is deeply concerning. The timing and scale of the cut create the appearance of retaliation after the library board declined to give $200,000 to the city. Whether or not that was the intent, the perception alone damages trust between our governing bodies and the community you serve. It is essential that our budget decisions be guided by long-term values and transparent fiscal judgment, not by pressure or fear of reprisal. The Watertown Public Library is one of our city's most prized treasures. It is a cornerstone institution that offers far more than books. It provides essential community supports, educational programming, technology access, early literacy resources, job-seeking help, and a safe, welcoming environment for residents of every age and income level. Speaking personally, I use the library regularly as a neutral, accessible meeting space after work and on weekends. I do that because the library is one of the few places in our community that is free, open to everyone, and can accommodate large groups. The proposed cuts would jeopardize this. Reducing weekend and evening hours or scaling back staff would directly diminish the community's ability to rely on the library as a shared public space. Space that is increasingly rare and increasingly important. If we remove $140,000 from the library budget, we are not just trimming costs. We are weakening a civic asset that strengthens families, supports learning, and contributes to the quality of life that makes Watertown a place people want to live. I urge the council to reconsider this proposal. The long-term costs to community trust, public access, and educational opportunities far outweigh any short-term fiscal savings. I encourage you to pursue other solutions that preserve the vitality of our library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie Hernandez.
I'm Jamie Hernandez. I live in Lake Mills, but I work at the library. I'm here today as the head of adult services at the library and an emotional woman. Each and every day, I see firsthand the impact the library has on the community of Watertown. I am not from Watertown, nor do I live here, but I am proud to be part of this community. I'm proud to work with a group of people under the passionate and fierce leadership of Peg Chekai, who come to work every day with the same goal in mind, to do their best to help people improve their lives. This improvement can simply be by finding a book or movie to entertain themselves, but it can also be having a warm and safe place to spend the day. People to interact with who know their names. It can be access to computers to search for jobs or print resumes. It can be bringing their children in for story time with the hopes that they are helping instill a love of books and learning. However, this budget cut puts all of that in direct jeopardy. It has been suggested that we simply need to trim the fat or tighten things up. Well, the fat has already been trimmed and things are as tight as they can possibly go at the library. Here's what is at stake if this budget goes through. We may need to be closed on weekends or cut hours during the week. This will take away one of the only free recreation options for families, the elderly, and the unhoused. It will cut access to Watertown Family Connections. It will take away one of the places social services regularly meets with clients. When Fred Smith and Ken Berg came to the library board to ask for the money from our endowment fund, one of our board members said that he felt like we were being presented with two bad options. One was to hand over the money. The other was to risk the library's budget cut even more. For those who were not at that meeting, do you know what Mr. Smith's reply was? He said, "I do not believe that was part of our proposal."
Please keep your comments to the council only, not name anybody, okay? Thank you.
That was not part of his proposal. It was said that there were going to be no ramifications toward the rest of the library budget if the board did not give the money to plug holes in the city budget. That was a lie. As we can see, the budget has been cut even more. The rest of the council, I'm asking you to please stand up for what is right. Please find it in your hearts to pass the version of the budget that did not include $140,000 cut. Your job is to serve the community, and the community needs their library.
Thank you.
Tina Perrenboom.
Hi, I'm Tina Perrenboom. I also do not live in Watertown. I live in Burlington, but I work at the Watertown Public Library. I am the children's librarian and head of youth services at the Watertown Public Library. I speak to you today for the families and the children and teens that will be directly impacted by the 18% budget cut to the library. I have been a professional librarian for over 10 years, 7.5 of which have been here in Watertown. I was part of the team that helped to create the award-winning Talk Read Play Center. When we were envisioning what our children's library could be, we set out to make the Talk Read Play Center a best-in-class community destination for families that is accessible for all people. We were extremely successful in this mission, and our library is a buzzing hub of the community. I see parents, caregivers, grandparents, and extended families come to our library from not only Watertown, but from Heartland, Delafield, Oconomowoc, Ixonia, Johnson Creek, Lake Mills, Beaver Dam, Hustisford, Juneau, every single day. They come to Watertown from surrounding communities for one reason, and that reason is the Watertown Public Library. They come for our summer and winter library challenges, our weekly programs, for our amazing staff, and for our engaging space. When they are here, they are spending money in our community. They're getting coffee at Latte Donate or Literatus. They're shopping downtown at Blue Butterfly or at Ava's. They're having lunch at Bears or at Mullins. They're spending money in our community, but the reason they are coming to Watertown is because of our library. I hear this from our patrons, and I see this every single day. Any cuts to our hours, our programming, or our staff will come with a massive negative impact to our patrons that we work so hard for every day. I want to personally thank the alders who voted against this substantial budget cut to the library. Your support of our library is appreciated and does not go unnoticed. To the 5 alders who voted to cut our budget so substantially, shame on you. You are harming a fundamental resource to the people of this community, and your votes will not go unnoticed either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carrie Owens.
Hi, Carrie Owens, 1402 Stone Ridge Drive. I'm also here to comment on the library and those cuts being made. I understand the budgeting process and the need for all departments to make concessions and find ways to help during trying financial times. However, it seems the library is being asked to take a much greater hit to their budget than other departments. I also attended the library board meeting where Alders Smith and Berg requested the library give $200,000 to cover the interest payments. The board and concerned citizens were told by the Alders Smith and Berg this was just a request and would not result in funds being cut to the library if the board said no. There was a lot of faith lost after that statement, as $100,000 was then cut in addition to the earlier $40,000. Just knowing the library has stayed within their budget this year when reviewing, while many other budgets, it appears, have gone over in their spending. Alder Smith also mentioned the fact that the fire department was way overspending last year, but now we're asking our library to give up $140,000. The library is the pride of this community. I only moved here 3 years ago, but everyone I speak to says, have you been to your library? Oh my goodness, people know of our library. That's kind of a thing we're known for in the area. On any given day, you find so many activities. It's not just residents checking out books. I'm there all the time. Watertown Family Connections is there tutoring through Jefferson County Literacy Council, community resource meetings, speech and language sessions, Madison College information sharing, job and interview coaching, homeschool activities, after school and vacation opportunities, providing a safe environment for young people to gather, opportunities to provide strong literacy foundation for our young children, candidate forums, community meetings, book clubs for children through seniors, maker spaces for patrons of all ages, and technology access for community members. These aren't just feel-good things. This is what makes our community a strong community. This strengthens our education system. This strengthens everyone here. If you've been there any time of the day or evening, you're going to find that place filled with patrons. Cutting that budget is going to lead to shortened hours, providing less access. They've come up with they've helped fund the city shortcomings by using their endowment to pay for upkeep, to pay for improvements. They do need those funds in that endowment. The library is used nonstop. They need to be able to replace carpeting, replace fixtures. Things do get broken. So I ask, why would you take the money the library has for their upkeep, leading to the city having larger problems in future years by not keeping up buildings? Please reconsider your actions and lack of commitment for our library and consider more equitable cuts to balance the budget.
Stephanie Curtis.
Stephanie Curtis, 1407 Beacon Drive, and also Executive Director with Watertown Family Connections.
I stand before you tonight deeply concerned about your decision to cut funding to the Watertown Public Library. This decision does not only affect the library itself, it reverberates across our entire community. The library is more than a building filled with books. It is a hub of learning, connection, and opportunity. It is a home to Watertown Family Connections, where we deliver programs that strengthen families and nurture children. When library hours are cut, our ability to serve families is also cut. Parents will lose access to parenting workshops, children will lose access to early literacy programs, and families lose a safe, welcoming space to gather and grow. But the impact does not stop with us. Scores of other organizations rely on the library's resources and services to reach the people they serve. Nonprofits, schools, civic groups, and individuals all depend on the library as a partner in education, workforce development, and community building. By reducing funding, you are not just trimming a budget line, you are dismantling a network of support that touches thousands of lives. Public libraries have been at the foundation of our nation since its very origin. To quote one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, who established the first lending library, "These libraries have improved the general conversation of the Americans and made the common tradesmen and farmers as intelligent as most gentlemen from other countries." Franklin understood that libraries are not luxuries. They are engines of democracy, equality, and civic progress. If you claim to be true patriots, then supporting the public institutions that empower the average citizen is your duty. To defund public libraries is to betray that claim. It is to violate the oath of our elected officials who have taken to serve this community. You have said you want to improve Watertown. You have said you want strong education, thriving families, and a community that attracts new residents. Yet this action undermines those very goals. Cutting library funding aligns with those who seek to weaken our schools and limit opportunities for children. It sends a message that Watertown does not value education, does not prioritize families, and does not invest in our own future. How can we claim to be for families and children while simultaneously throwing up roadblocks for their success? How can we invite new families to move here while stripping away the very resources that make Watertown a place worth living? The library is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the heartbeat of a community that believes in lifelong learning, equity, and opportunity. Cutting its funding is not progress, it is regression. I urge you to reconsider this decision, restore the funding, stand with families, children, and the countless organizations that depend on the Watertown Public Library. Show us that your words about improving Watertown are more than slogans, and they are commitments backed by action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy Martin.
Amy Martin, 1010 South 10th Street in Watertown. I don't have a lot to say other than I already agree with what's been said, and I would just like to ask those of you who voted against the library to reconsider your vote. I worked there for 6 years, so I kind of have an inside view of what goes on there, and I'm just asking you all to reconsider your vote.
Thank you.
Heidi Zipfel.
Hi, I'm Heidi Ziffel, 1416 Stone Ridge Drive, District 1. I could stand up here and talk about the finances and the budget and the dollar amounts. We all know that. I'm going to speak from the heart to each and every one of you personally. I think the hard part about this decision is not whether or not we should take money from the library, make the cuts. I think the hard decision is to stand up with integrity and ethics, to take the hard road and admit that the library is about people. And though the money is needed in other places, we need money for the street department, we need money for other departments, but I drive on those roads, but every day I interact with people to have the strength and to stand up against others that want the budget cut, but to say, you know what, it's a community. Watertown is a community. The library is the heart of the community. And unfortunately, the people that voted to have this budget cut, you are not representing yourself as part of the community. I personally do not feel that you are part of the community. Also, what message are we giving to other towns? Unfortunately, in the state of the world, a lot of librarians and such are losing their jobs. I have been hearing, I'm a library assistant at the Watertown Public Library. I have been hearing from our patrons, I hear from people when I go to Pick and Save. What a shame that, like I said, cuts are being made nationwide. But they feel what a shame and an embarrassment that the government in Watertown, the city government, is turning against its own people and what is best for the people and for the children. I see this is going to trickle down. This decision is short-term. We're not looking long-term. I have witnessed 9-year-olds tell me at the library, I'm so glad we could be here because I want to go home with my mom and dad, but I can't, so I'm so glad we could be here. We service so many families that have nowhere to go for free, that they can meet in a neutral, safe place. I have elderly people that come every day because they need community. They need people to talk to. We provide for all types of people. I didn't, like I said, didn't prepare. I just think that it's a shame that it's happening. I implore everyone to look inside themselves and not think about what's on paper, not to think about that money, because there's always going to be a battle. Someone is going to always need money somewhere. But this isn't just about that. It's about long-term and what message you are giving. I have people come in from other libraries. They're very proud of them. They defend them. But they said, we come here because you've proven by what you've done and how you provide service to us, you really care about your children and you care about your people. And if this budget does not get vetoed, or if they agree to go through with this, we are giving a terrible message on down the line to other people. So as I said, I ask you to please reverse this decision. Also, maybe I would like to say thank you.
Greg Zipfel.
Hi, my name's Greg Zipfel. I'm also from District 1. I will direct a little bit more on the financial side of this, what's going on with this draconian cut to the library budget. This is an 18% cut. Have you gone to every other department and asked for an 18% cut? No. When it was brought up that maybe the alder people should share and reduce their pay, was that? No, that was shot down. Shot down. Why should we have to eat some of this stuff? You want a fair thing? Spread it around all the departments if you need to. I bet you half these people in here could go into that budget right now and at least get 100,000, not 200,000 of cuts that don't need to be there. It's crazy. I was at the same library board meeting where it was brought up that the $200,000 cut, and it was presented that money was going to go supposedly for the library's portion of the debt service. Did that end up there? No. Ended up going to the street department. We weren't even told the truth about where that money ended up going. It's crazy. You can balance this budget. There's other ways to do it. I've done it before. I've been in this position. I've worked for a local government before. I know how these works. There's fluff in there. There's budget in there. How can you, what was that, 6 years ago, 7 years, double the size of the library, and now you're going to give them a 20% cut in their budget after you've doubled the space? Where's the logic in that? Totally don't get it. So I strongly urge you to reverse that. I want the whole 140,000 brought back, if not increasing it, because that's what should have been done when you double the space. They should have gotten an increase in their budget, not cut. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Tom Coles.
Hello, my name is Tom Coles. I live on Concord Avenue. Albert Einstein once said, the only thing you absolutely need to know is where the library is. I'm here to talk about the library and the cuts that have been made. As you know, or maybe you don't know, the Watertown Library is one of the best libraries in the state. It's very well run. I'm going to tell you a story. I, like many people, have used the library as needed. I go when I want a book, when I'm looking up something, or just stop in for a library board meeting, or just occasionally come in for different things. A couple of weeks ago, I had a chance because my wife was spending some time doing some research, I had a chance to just walk around the library. And I saw a lot of things that are going on. I saw kids and parents there for programs or just hanging out. I saw people on computers, many of them old like me. I saw meetings going on. I saw tutoring, which is something I do. There's tutoring going on in those libraries. Teenagers hanging out. Well, you know, they may cause problems, but wouldn't you rather have them hanging out at a library rather than someplace else on the street or something? Older people just sitting around, looking out the window or talking to each other. A full parking lot at 11 o'clock in the morning. That means it's being used. Passes for things that you can go to, like the domes in Milwaukee. You can get music and videos that for free that you know, you may not, you're going to try something out. Anyway, so much for so many people. And the council now has determined that this is meaningless, and your actions last month have shown that you don't care about the library. Don't ruin a good thing that serves so many people. Don't embarrass our city. Do the right thing and change what you did. There's an old saying, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Don't ruin a good thing. Support your library.
Thank you, sir.
Peg Checkeye.
Good evening, Peg Checkeye. I'm here representing the Watertown Public Library, but my aldermanic district is District 5 with Mr. Blanky. After last week's budget decision, I wanted to provide a few updates and questions I was hearing repeatedly from patrons and your constituents. I've heard a few alders note that we should tighten our belts, look for ways to cut the budget. We agree. Everyone should be responsible. And we have, like all the city departments, we have operated at a 0% budget increase for the past 2 years for expenses not related to salaries and benefits. Yet during that same time, our expenses, library materials, utilities, technology, insurance, paying into the ever-popular AMSO account have continued to climb. I've been told by city leaders that I operate a good and responsible budget for the library. I take that seriously. The budget at the Watertown Public Library is already tight, already justified, and already carefully managed. So when you say tighten your belt, please understand it isn't mismanagement we're talking about. It's lack of support. We budgeted responsibly while costs rise. Meanwhile, the city implemented a new employee step-by-step grade salary structure, but the library received no funding to accommodate those increases. We pay into the salaries and benefits of other city staff, yet library employees were told there wasn't enough to support theirs. We've cut staff and we've zeroed out material and programming budgets, so I ask, which budget am I supposed to tighten? I continue to hear mixed messages. Some alders tell residents the budget is not done, this is not done, offering hope that changes could still come. Others say maybe funding will be added back due to increased construction in town. And yet, in the same breath, we hear predictions of financial Armageddon around the corner, warnings that tougher budgets are looming and the worst is still ahead. Some have been told that this cut is only for 1 year, maybe 2. So which is it? Hope on the horizon or disaster around the corner? Our community deserves clarity, not contradictions. What is clear is this. Cuts to the Watertown Public Library will have consequences that echo for years. Reduced literacy support, fewer opportunities for children, fewer safe spaces for teens, and fewer services for seniors and local schools. Constituents who have mailed the mayor have also heard back that he is doing what's best for Watertown. Yet once again, I have to ask, how is a cut that weakens literacy, youth support, and community resilience best for Watertown? But I have to thank the mayor for responding to emails. I've been told that many have not heard back from the alders regarding this topic, yet they've been emailed. As alders, you swore an oath to faithfully and impartially discharge your duties to the best of your abilities. And so the question stands, not in anger, but in accountability. Was this decision made without bias, without retaliation, without predetermined outcomes? Was it truly impartial? Some have been told that constituents only show up when there's a problem, and that's not apathy, that's trust. Constituents don't fail to show up, they showed faith in you. The people of Watertown aren't being disrespectful or disengaged. They're living their lives, believing their leaders are guarding the public good until a decision is so profound and harmful that silence is no longer acceptable. I stand here today to not just defend a building, a budget line, or the library team. I'm defending what a library means, a shared future, a fair process, and a community where decisions are made not just efficiently, but ethically, impartially, and in the public interest. These cuts will last for years to come. The damage will outlive this budget season. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for fair treatment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Francine Geis.
Hi, my name is Francine Geis, 609 West Main Street. I'm here today, like all the others, to express my horror at the idea of cutting $140,000 plus from our library during a time of economic downturn. When do members of the community need internet, computer access for job hunting, and free entertainment more than ever? It's when they are hurting financially. That time is right now. I attended the recent library committee meeting in which a couple of members of this council requested that the library donate $200,000 per year of their donated funds to supplement the city budget. They came to the meeting with bluster, a whole lot of pontification, and facts that weren't exactly correct and were corrected during the meeting. I asked this: how would you feel if the money that you donated to a cause that you truly believed in was turned around and given to something completely different? Personally, I'd feel betrayed and that it was not a reputable organization that I had originally given to, and I would never, ever donate to them again. The library committee also raised the fact that they felt it didn't, that if they didn't agree to handing over the donations to the library, that they would have their budget cut. They were told this wasn't going to be the case, and yet this is exactly what happened. The library has had virtually the same budget for years now, not keeping up with inflation rates like many of the other departments in the city. They have done more with less. They truly are the best thing that this city has going for it. And yet, you're going to cut the budget by $140,000 for 2026. You didn't build public bathrooms at Benson with the idea that the library's bathrooms could be used. The council said no to a public-private partnership for a warming shelter for the city's unhoused population. One of your council members told a citizen that the senior center and library had been chosen as warming shelter sites. Now, we realize that this was a rather misleading statement, but a member of the council claimed that the library was the warming shelter. And it is the daytime warming shelter. It's also a place that a lot of parents use for their after-school activities and childcare, quite frankly. It's a place where the people of the city come together, utilizing the conference rooms for local groups, activities, planning, and to give themselves a sense of community. But that's the area that you've decided to make draconian cuts to. Then again, I'm just one of those emotional women that a council member pointed out attended and spoke at the library meeting. Yes, if you're going to have private conversations, perhaps you should not have them right in front of the library. In ending, you can work to reduce us to being emotional women, but we're folks that care about this community and we want to make it better. Many of the emotional women that spoke were women featured on the library wall that when you walk in the front doors, these are women who have stepped up and donated to make the library what it is today. We're folks that show up, we donate, and we care about what happens. We may be emotional, but we give a darn. Do you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Brianna Cruiser.
Hi, Brianna Kreuzer, District 1, 508 Oak Park Avenue. This is a bit impromptu for me and not really in my comfort zone, but you know, my daughters who are ages 9 and 7 and public school children who enjoy, actually love, beg to go to the library, We talked to them about what's going on in our community, and my 9-year-old came home today and said, hey, my friends are all talking about this too. And you know what? She is 9 years old and recognizes a bullying situation when it's occurring. And she said to me, Mom, someone's got to go and people should go and stand up for the library. And I said, yeah, you know what? I'm going tonight. So here I am. And you can take my impromptu words from the mouths of babes as well, because I said, hey, if I go there, what do you love about the library? And, you know, they just said, it's the greatest place. It's the greatest place in town. We go there for, early on when they were babies, for the awesome baby bounce and children's story time with Miss Tina. The library staff is so great in this town. I just don't think we even realize how fortunate we are, what a gem we have in our director and our librarians and the staff members. I mean, they welcome children, babies, all the way up, right? And so we've been a part of the library since they were babies. And the play area, when it was reopened, we were the envy of other communities. I had people from Madison, friends from Middleton, friends from Sun Prairie, Madison, saying, oh my gosh, your library is amazing. I wish our community. I mean, Watertown really needs to recognize that that is one of the biggest assets we have. And I'm shocked and appalled that I have to stand here as a fellow parent to other people. I know that many of you who represent our city are parents and grandparents, and I can't fathom that you wouldn't see the value in the future of our community. I feel this way so much lately in a town that seems to be sticking its head in the sand and not valuing our future. And we know that it supports the unhoused. We know that it supports older people. We know it supports people who are looking for job help and tech help and so many things. Just look at the Facebook page that the Watertown Public Library advertises all of their opportunities. And I want you to know, in case you don't read those Facebook posts, that they asked the public just like 2 hours ago, what day of the week would you see us cutting if we have to cut a day, right? A weekend or a day? And in a community that is so politically divided, we know this, let's not ignore it. I think both sides of the aisle, it's really fascinating to see in those comments people from all walks of life, all political opinions. We all love the library, and everyone is horrified. People are coming. I'm speaking at a Common Council meeting, so you know that there's a lot of people that are afraid and don't like this kind of thing, but like Peg said, silence isn't an option anymore if this is what's really going on. So I urge you again, like everybody else that came up here much more eloquently than I did, to please reconsider and please think of the future of this community and who we want to attract and who we want to support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it? Okay. Okay. There's another chance for public comment at the end of the meeting.
Mayor, are we still in the public hearing section?
Public hearing.
You said that there was potentially, there was a confusion about whether there was a public hearing.
I said if anybody was here, there isn't one, so I said if anybody want to speak about topics, to say it during the public comment time. Yeah.
Okay.
You were out, I think. Okay. All right, next we'll move on to reports. We have the Transit Commission minutes from October 20th, Plan Commission minutes from November 10th, Site Plan Review Committee minutes from November 10th, Finance Committee minutes from November 10th, Finance Committee minutes from November 18th, and RDA minutes from November 19th. Okay. We have no communication recommendations, so under new business, I'll review and take action on committee appointments. Okay. I have a motion for the committee appointment by Wetzel. Second. A second by Blanky. I always happen to sit in the front row right now. Okay. Take a roll call on that.
Wetzel. Aye. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg. Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett. Aye. Carries.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next B, review and discuss Jefferson County EMS Working Group update. Okay, thank you, Tanya.
I'm just here to answer any questions. The memo was provided based off of the meeting minutes from all of the meetings that we've had in the last 6 or 7 months. I don't have much more to share, but if you have questions, I'm happy to see what they are now, or you can send me an email.
Mr. Lampy, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. I'm just really happy that this effort continues to roll along. There are ample opportunities for regional cooperation, and obviously the fire station is something that we built with regional cooperation in mind.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Bartz, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Chief. I was just wondering what other communities in Jefferson County are included.
There's a handful. Not every single community is currently sitting on the board or on the work group, but we do have representation from Lake Mills, Ixonia, Jefferson, Fort, and Koshkonong, the little townships. I forgot, there's like 2 or 3 others. And then we also have a medical director, and then a couple others that are on the appointed. Michael Lucky is also very active in this group.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Simple
All right.
enough. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Thank you, Tanya. Scroll up here a second. Item C, convene a closed session per statute 19.85 to confer with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. Waiver of conflict from Von Briesen and Roper. Mr. Lampy?
I'd so move.
Okay, motion to go into closed session by Lampy,
Second.
second by Davis. Okay. Roll call, start with Lampy.
Lampy.
Aye.
Berg.
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky. Smith. Arnett. Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Passes.
Okay. 7:47. seconds here. Go back.
Recording in progress.
Okay, back in open session, 7:51. I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Lampy?
I would move that we direct the city attorney and city administration to execute the waiver of conflict presented in closed session.
Okay, got a motion by Lampy to accept. Okay, second by Wetzel. Thank you. Okay, take a roll call on that.
Lampy.
Aye.
Berg. Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Passes.
Okay, thank you. Next, miscellaneous business. We have the payroll summary from October 29th through November 11th. See if there's any questions on that, otherwise we can move on. Okay. Next, ordinances. Ordinance 25-23, amend section 453-6, acquisition of facilities, rates and charges, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee on its second reading.
Mayor, I'll move for 25-23, second reading.
Motion by Arnett.
Second.
Okay. Second by Bartz. Okay. Questions, comments on that? Okay.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg.
No.
Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky.
Aye.
Smith. Passes.
Okay. Myron voted, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Myron. Okay. Next, B, ordinance 25-24, adopt the planned development overlay district, general development plan for the Oxbow at 100 East Division Street, PIN number 291-0815-0412-029, and 104 East Division Street, PIN number 291-0915-3343-053, sponsored by myself and the Planning Commission on its first reading.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move for ordinance 25-24.
Okay, motion by Blanky. Second by Bartz. Okay. I think Chris Merklin's online. If there's any questions at all?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Arnett.
In looking through all the documents in support of this, I was looking for language regarding the, essentially reserving the Riverwalk and public access to essentially the shoreline for the purpose of the Riverwalk. And while I did see on the plan, one of the plans, there was a shaded area that I came to understand was intended to represent a Riverwalk. It's also been made aware to me that there is in process a document to be sent to the deeds office for the county to have a public right-of-way secured for that space. And I'm wondering if it would be appropriate for the recording of that right-of-way to be included as one of the conditions listed in this ordinance. There's 10 of them listed right now. So my question is that an appropriate time for us to put that in there?
You could. It could otherwise come as part of the development agreement that we are currently working on with this particular developer. So either or.
Either or.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lampy?
To build on Mr. Arnett's concern, are the flexibilities essentially what's expected us to work around on our side in the city? Whereas what we're asking for is essentially things that we're going to ask of the developer listed in those 10 items below? Is that generally how we're structuring this?
Just rephrase again.
So we have two major sections in here. We have flexibilities, which is the top section with lots of bullets, and then we have the bottom section, which says conditions with the 10 items. Are those generally things that the developer is asking of the city in the top section and things that we're asking of the developer in the bottom section, or are they interspersed?
Sorry. It'll be fleshed out more within the development agreement that we don't have before you. This is the first step in that. It will get much more specific when we go into that development agreement. That'll go before finance, and it'll come back to the council hopefully soon, but at a later date.
Okay. I think maybe what we're asking for here is what is your guidance to go into that conversation on the negotiations on the actual development agreement to make sure that that request for public access to the river is included in that?
It's something that we can include as part of the development agreement.
Could be put on there before the development agreement goes in front of council, in front of finance.
We'll incorporate it as part of our negotiations and then bring that back to you.
And I'll look at Mr. Arnett, and unless you prefer to have a motion to put it on there now, you could do that too.
Yeah, this is an extended process, and there'll be things that'll come up in that developer's agreement that this public access should not be conditional upon. And I'm uncomfortable with linking it to the other things that'll be in that developer's agreement. This should be table stakes, right here, right now. So I think it would make more sense for us to include it as a condition right here. We've already put a lot on the table for this with all those flexibilities. And I think it's perfectly appropriate for us to secure that public access now.
Mr. Mayor?
Either way?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Blanky?
I'd be willing to amend my motion to add an 11th condition stating that the developer include the easement for the Riverwalk.
Okay, before you make that, if you're gonna amend your motion, assuming Bart's is okay with it, I just wanna make sure that no council members disagreeing with your amendment. If everyone's okay with it, we can go through it that way. No problem with Mr. Blanky making an amendment to his, we're good with it?
From a Robert Rules perspective, there's no issue with that.
Yep, okay.
This makes it part of the
Are you good, Mr. Bartz? Okay. We had a little more discussion, I was just making sure. Okay. All right, so if we have the river access as 11th condition, that's the motion by Blanky, second by Bartz. So anything?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, point of procedure. The maker of the motion has amended his original motion with a friendly amendment that does not require further action by this council other than voting on now what is the parent motion.
Correct, Mr. Arnett, I was just making sure everybody was okay with that amendment, that's all.
So, so discussion can now continue to
Yep,
proceed
continue, yep.
on the ordinance.
Any
as a
further
whole.
discussion on the motion by Blanky and second by Bartz?
I would say I appreciate Alderman Blanky making that. Thank you. And Mr. Bartz supporting.
Okay.
Part of
Go ahead, Mr. Blanky. Yep.
Part of this is, with all these flexibilities and conditions, one of the complications of this is that this crosses the county line. And that creates a lot of complications. One of them is the orientation of the building. We had several people come in front of us asking why we can't change that. And again, if we did, then we'd literally be splitting one of the buildings in half. They can't do that. There has to be a defined wall between the two buildings because of the county line. One of the other things that came up on Plan Commission was parking. And I specifically asked, because this is in something that is zoned business and this is a planned development overlay, there actually is no requirement for parking per unit. However, the parking, if this were in a residential area, the requirement for this building would be to have 100 parking spaces, and they actually have 108. So they exceed the requirement of what it would be in a residential area. So that was something that I specifically asked the developer because I knew there were concerns about that from the citizens in that area and the people living in that area. But again, it exceeds what we would require in a residential area. They've done their homework. There's a lot of difficulties in this process just because of the geography there, but as you can see, it's moving forward.
I believe between the underground parking and surface parking, it was 1 2/3 parking spots per unit.
Yes.
Is that 1.6, yeah. Okay. Mr. Berg, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate Alderperson Arnett with initiating the request for that to be added now. It would typically go into your developer agreement as a condition or an item for addressing at that time, but this helps to ensure that it does happen, and I think it's very fundamental and basic that we have that public access along the river area, and so to have it in here now gives that reassurance. I appreciate the intent.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg.
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the resolutions, Exhibit 9801, resolution to enter into a lease for an airport hangar pad located at 1820 River Drive, PIN number 291-0815-0931-001, sponsored by myself and the Planning Commission.
For 9801.
Okay. Motion by Wetzel,
Second.
second by Arnett. Okay, questions on that?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Blanky, go ahead, sir.
Can you, for clarification, read off the PIN number again? Because what's on the resolution in front of me has 0933-002, and I believe you read off 0931-001.
I did read off 001.
So for clarification, I just want to make sure we have the correct PIN number. Is the one on from our packet correct, or did that, or is the one that you read off correct?
I'm gonna guess I'd go with the resolution one, but I can just,
So it looks like on the meeting notice is the one that you read,
yeah.
but in the resolution, it's different.
Suggestion, Ally, just read off both.
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
I know somebody that would know. Nice catch.
Thank you. That could cause some problems in the future.
Could you read off the resolution number, or the pin in the resolution?
0933-002.
That's that is the correct pin number.
So it's like 0933-002 is correct?
Yes.
Okay. Wetzel and I believe Arnett seconded.
You okay with that change?
Guess this would be safe, Mr. Wetzel, if you mind amending your motion to read for number 291-0815-0933-002. Mr. Arnett, you okay with that? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any further questions or catches on that? Thank you, Mr. Blanky. Okay.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg. Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, thank you. Next, Exhibit 9802, resolution to participate in WEM Pre-Disaster Flood Resilience Grant for West Side Creek System Study, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee. Ms. Davis?
I'll move for Exhibit 9802.
Thank you. And Mr. Lampy, you second?
Second.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
figured. Second, please. Okay. Questions on that? Mr. Lampy, go ahead.
Maureen, are you online?
Yep.
Great. But I had does this pertain to the drainage area that's near Carriage Hill Drive?
You there, Maureen?
I saw her come off of mute, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
Maybe. There. You're unmuted now, Maureen.
I can jump in on that one.
Okay.
This does pertain to the drainage area around Carriage Hill Drive.
Okay. My main request, as Alder from District 2, is if you guys could give me a read-in on where we are with some of those projects recently. I did was actually out gathering signatures in the area, and I heard some rumors, I think, that I'm having a hard time refuting, but I could use the latest and greatest information. Just want to make sure that that gets relayed properly to some of the residents in the area.
Sure thing, and Maureen can speak in greater detail than I can on this one. This grant was centered around 3 distinct areas in the northwest side of the city, kind of the first steps in planning future capital projects tied to the citywide flood study. So this moves some large projects ahead in that area from a planning perspective.
Yeah, thank you on that. I guess if you guys can just connect with me via email, and we'll talk. We'll set up the time to chat.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, Mr. Stevens.
Davis. Lampy. Berg. Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Smith. Arnett. Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, thank you. Next, see Exhibit 9803, resolution to enter into contract with Passenger Trans Incorporated for shared ride taxi services, January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee. Mr. Smith?
I'd move for the adoption of proposed Exhibit 9803.
Okay, motion by Smith.
Second that.
Second by Moldenhauer. Okay. Questions on C? Ms. Davis, go ahead.
So I received 2 phone calls today from 2 individuals who are dissatisfied with the shared ride taxi service that we currently have in place. I'll pass those along to those of you on the Transit Commission, but it did make me curious to know, as in part of the selection process, is there any request from the Commission for customer service reporting? Do they do any kind of customer service feedback? Do we have any criteria that we have in place for response times or the service delivery? Is that part of the selection process, customer service?
Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Yes, and it's part of the ongoing review process. Each meeting of the Transit Commission has an opportunity to review every complaint that has been lodged in relationship to the transit services. Each one of those are individually reviewed, and as far as I know, have all been resolved to the satisfaction of those concerned citizens that had made the complaints initially. So I do not know if it was a specific provision with a resolution procedure in the request for proposals, but in the contract is the responsibility for the provider that this resolution would put in place for the next 2 years with 3 years of options to follow that agreement, and it is included there. And for the longest time that I'm familiar with, each and every complaint is individually reviewed.
Okay. Well, I'll pass those on to you. That's helpful information. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Stevens.
Smith. Arnett. Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy.
Aye.
Berg. Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, thank you. Next, D, Exhibit 9804, resolution to enter into a lease with Pastor Transit Incorporated for shared ride taxi services. Service vehicles January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee. A second, I was making sure I wasn't reading the same thing twice. Mr. Lampy, motion?
Yes, I would move for Exhibit 9804.
Okay. Bartz, for second, item D. Okay.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Davis.
So as I look at the existing vehicles that we have, do we have any sedans that are closer to the ground and maybe easier for elderly people to enter? Or are they all minivans?
I don't know what the dimensions are for the point of entry, but I do know that there are ADA compliant vehicles. As a matter of fact, for the capital acquisition for 2026, which is in our budget and for which we have a future resolution requesting that aid, it is for an ADA compliant van. As far as each of the other vehicles that are part of the lease inventory, I don't know in every instance what that would be.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Blanky.
Is the fleet not listed on page 39 of our packet?
Yes.
I was under the impression that's what that was.
Right.
And those are all, it says they're all minivans or buses, so there are no sedans, as I understand it.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as well. So it made me curious to know if there was a reason why we solely purchase minivans. And that doesn't necessarily have to be discussed tonight, but I was curious if you know off the top of your head, or if you don't, we can I can reach out by email.
Mr. Smith, did you say that you're purchasing, well, the Transit's purchasing an additional ADA minivan next year? Is that what?
There is the option for participants in this program to apply for, on an annual basis, one new replacement vehicle. And the one that we have planned for 2026 is an ADA compliant van, and that's what I believe the next resolution is authorizing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else on that one? All right, Mr. Stevens.
Lampy. Berg.
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky.
Aye.
Smith. Arnett. Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Passes.
Okay. Next one, Exhibit 9805, resolution to apply for capital grant from the Department of Transportation for 2026 fleet purchases for shared ride taxi service, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee. Okay, Mr. Smith?
I would move for the approval of proposed Exhibit 9805.
Okay, got a motion by Smith. And second by Berg. Okay, questions, comments on that one? I think someone just answered before.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg. Bartz.
Aye.
Blanky.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay. F, Exhibit 9806, resolution to apply for operating grant from Department of Transportation for 2026 shared ride taxi service, sponsored by myself and the Finance Committee.
I would so move.
Okay. All right, motion by Moldenhauer. And second by Smith. Okay. Questions on that one? Let's go up a little bit here. Okay.
Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis. Lampy. Berg. Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Passes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Last, before adjournment, comments and suggestions from citizens present. If you wish to state your name and address, you can have up to 3 minutes to speak to the council. You just, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Kaddish.
Yes, I'm John Kaddish, 204 West Main Street, Watertown. I guess I'm just looking for a little clarification, a little understanding. After attending this meeting and several others, I have yet to personally hear anybody speaking in favor of the cuts to the library. I'm waiting for that. It hasn't occurred yet. So we all know that these cuts were initiated and orchestrated by one member of this council, and 4 others decided to vote with that. And I'm just trying to figure out what their justification was for that. Are they receiving correspondences from their constituents of their districts? Am I to assume that they are logging these down somewhere to see who's in favor of this, who's not in favor of that? Are those numbers greater than what we are witnessing here at council meetings? And are they specifically saying that we are in favor of these cuts, or are you hearing that through a different means? You're hearing it by people calling you up or corresponding with you saying that our roads are horrible. So when you hear our roads are horrible, are you hearing that? And then you figure, well, what they're really saying is we can cut the library budget. I'm just really curious as to the percentage. Are we working off a percentage of, okay, if 50% of people are for it, not, what are you hearing from your constituents? Are you representing your constituents, or are you representing the one individual who initiated this whole idea? That's where I just am trying to understand. I go to a lot of meetings. I hear public comment, and I'm just not seeing or feeling the support. Am I living in a bit of a bubble? I am very much in favor of the library. I admit that because I live across the street from it. I volunteer there. But anywhere that I see, anywhere that I'm interacting with people, be it at stores downtown or whatever, I'm just hearing support for it. I'm not saying there aren't people against it. I'm sure there are. But I just would really somehow like to see where you are justifying your support for this. I mean, are you not getting anybody calling you? Are you getting a lot of people calling you? I mean, where does this come from? I'm just trying to comprehend that, because the amazing support that I'm hearing, that I'm feeling for the library, I just don't feel that opposition. So I wish somewhere I could see that, I could hear it displayed from council members to say, yes, I've received 27 phone calls yesterday about this. There's people watching online, they're saying, oh yeah, we see that, and I wish I would be there to stand up for my council member who is against this. I just wish there would be some way that we could get a feedback from the council members. A friend of mine was a council member for many years, and he literally logged down every response that he got. And from that, he then determined, okay, this will go into my decision making, not necessarily in its entirety, but at least gives you an idea. And if there was somewhere, somehow, I could see something like that, so that, you know, I don't come off looking like I am just totally one-sided. I am more than open to hear opposition. It's just, I haven't heard it yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaddish. You state your name and address, ma'am, okay?
Hello, my name is Danielle Bailey. I live in Jefferson, however, I work at the library at 100 South Water Street. I was watching online as I was closing up the library tonight. Wow, you had a lot of constituents voice themselves in support for the library, as John pointed out. You've heard from me before, and as much as you may not want me to spend your time saying what others have said, I do agree with all of them. But have you listened? Many of us will continue to come and say these things until you do. I've heard the mayor and other alders call the library a program. I'm a city employee. The library is a city department. You say you want us to be a team. I don't feel like a team has sketchy meetings that are inaccessible to discuss city department's cuts and then not acknowledge what went down, intentionally or not. A team doesn't come to the library board meeting and reference and ask without actually even doing the respectful thing of actually asking. That is not even legal for the board to do in the first place. To emotionally threaten and mansplain to the board compromised of majority women on how they should vote. Then follow through with a threat. A team doesn't say one thing here and another thing there. A team doesn't intentionally spout misogyny in front of those who just told you their views. I just came from closing the library, like I said. I used my building key to get in because I'm a city employee.
Leaving tonight? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Got it. Yep.
Thanks for making me and my coworkers feel like a part of the team. Speaking of, I've worked at 2 domestic violence shelters. I did community mental health case management and racial and restorative justice in the Madison School District. That kind of work makes close teams. I have never felt so good about the place I work and the team I am a part of at your Watertown Public Library. I don't go to Jefferson's Common Council meetings or their RDA meetings. I care an awful lot about this community, and you should too. See you next time.
Thank you. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, all right, Mr. Wetzel. Okay, second by Bartz. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Thank you. You going home tomorrow, Myron?
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay, sounds great.